Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be reviewing a student game that my student played online, and we actually reviewed this game during one of our personal lessons, but I thought it was such a educational game that I wanted to make a video on it. That being said, if you are looking for a Go teacher and you're interested in me being your teacher, you can inquire more at ohiogoschool@gmail.com. The email is in the description. Without further ado, let's jump into the review. Now, the subtext for this game, or the title for this game I gave it, is Missed Opportunities. And so if you are a player that struggles to find the right timing or struggles in fights in the middle game, this game and this review is going to help immensely. So my student is 5K, their opponent is 6K, and this was an even game because it was an OGS game, and pretty much all games on OGS are even. My student is white. Black plays a large knight. We get the approach, kick, and then Tenuki. Now, if you're going to kick, general rule of thumb is you definitely want to answer this. This is something you see a lot if you play on certain Asian servers, namely Taigem and Fox, servers that are pretty well known for being aggressive, especially at the lower levels. You will see this sort of kick, and usually you see pincer. So going elsewhere is, I guess, slightly different from that. But the general idea is you will see kick into something else, right? Because normally you're supposed to you see kick and jump, less common, but even kick and knight's move. But to kick and go elsewhere is generally a crude way of playing. Now, if Black wanted to play at R13, Black could have if Black had simply just not kicked. So if you want Sente and you want to go elsewhere, Black could have by not kicking. But if you're going to kick, general rule of thumb is to just answer. So Black goes here. Okay. Now, whether or not you have the kick or not, your general rule of thumb is you want to seal your opponents into their corners. The reason why is if a group is completely sealed off into the corner, that group has no effect on the rest of the board. So not that Black would allow this to happen, but for example, if White goes here, let's say Black does something else, and then White goes here, even if this group can live, which it probably can, somehow, something like this, it's going to be alive, this group has no effect on the rest of the board, and all of Whitestone's power and influence is emanating everywhere else. It's emanating on the right side, the center, and the bottom side. So this group here has no effect. White's group, and it could even be cut, but Whitestones here have effect everywhere else. So that's why you don't want to generally get sealed in. So the reason why Black jumps here is Black is trying not to get sealed into the corner. So one, it makes the corner bigger, but also notice it's starting to now build the bottom side. And so this is generally true too without the kick. So again, if Black did something else, if you get this kind of shape, again, I think AIs technically say now that this is not as bad as we used to think, where before you would play a move like R3, whereas nowadays you would do this kind of double kick, or not double kick, but kind of like double knight's move, and then try to live and maximize your position in the corner as big as possible, something like this. But still, at a human level, this feels pretty good for White to get, even though there are cuts for White. Because again, Black's going to get sealed in. White's influence is going to affect the rest of the board. Right. So that's why when this kind of shape happens, even especially with the kick, White's goal is to seal Black into the lower right. And there are a few ways to do it. Now, one way that might seem natural is this one, and this move cannot be bad. Right, you're taking your opponent's move. The only thing you have to consider is that if Black tries to separate you, and again, this is where the kick is bad. Black now can't block here because White can just push and cut. So Black has to fix maybe here. And Black shape is horrible, but it is important to note that White is now split and Black is fully connected. And that is an important distinction to make when I show you maybe the other ways White could have played. So one way I like to play is this knight's move. Again, as I showed, Black shouldn't let this happen, but if Black ignores, White gets this jump down. And again, this puts a lot of pressure on the lower right. And if black tries to play strongly, even if you just connect like this and black has to slide, you have pushed black down. This influence here is now facing the right side. You can even attack now. But even if you go down and allow this cut to happen, like this, if you compare that to this shape here, in both cases, white is split. But in this case, black is connected. So when black has to cut here, black is also separated. So technically speaking, unless black can capture one of these two cutting stones of white's, black is completely sealed into the corner, which is, again, that is our goal. So even if black extends here, which black has to because of the ladder, getting this Hane and connect here creates a ton of bad aji with the clamp here. There is a ton of bad aji in the corner. So this can be very dangerous for black. This can be very dangerous for black. If black switches to Haneing here, if we just fix our shape, again, we don't really care about the one stone at M2. Again, our thickness is going to be emanating elsewhere in the board, whereas black's going to be concealed into the corner. So that's, again, it works even better when your opponent has kicked. But even if your opponent hasn't kicked, if you can prioritize sealing in corners, that is a good strategy, especially if you struggle to find like, oh, where should I play kind of in the early opening or even like mid opening, prioritize sealing in corners. And that is why the most common move, or one of the most common moves, is just backing off. This is just saying, hey, you are not going to seal me into the corner. I'm going to keep access to the side, which is very important. But we get this. And white goes here. This move I actually really like too, because in normal circumstances, when black jumps here in the corner, white owes a move on the right side. So generally speaking, it's going to be sente for black. But now that black has gone here and white has gone here, this is white's normal extension from after the kick with the two stones here. If black ever plays now to finish off the lower right, white now does not need to answer. So black has now lost sente in playing 0-4. So I do like R10, although I would again be trying to, even making this exchange once and then playing here. It's a good exchange to make. And again, getting 0-5 is threatening to play N3 as well. And it would revert back to the other variation where black attaches instead. Black goes here, black slides, and it wasn't that what white did was bad necessarily, but I would just play the 3-3, keep the corner because you can still attack black's group on a hole. In the game, white attaches, and black actually just takes the corner in exchange for the outside. Now, that is what should have happened. Like I would imagine black would go here, and even if white added a stone, black gets sente, black gives up a stone, but black gets sente, and again would probably want to add a stone in the lower right. And the corner is quite big, so again, I think this is possible for black. But black goes here. So black is saving the singular stone, which, if we're looking at things from black's perspective, you have to ask yourself how much value are there in these stones. So for example, if best case scenario, if black saves this one stone here, how many points can black make here with this stone? Black can pretty much make no points, right? Maybe black can make a couple on the side, but otherwise there's not that much point value here. Black can make many points on the bottom, black can make many points on the left side, and can make many points up top. So that's why black should just be, especially once black has taken the corner here, black shouldn't be trying to get everything. And this is kind of what black's doing. Black's saying, okay, I'm going to save this, even though I owe a move on the bottom. So white jumps. This move is okay. This move is okay. Yeah, no problems with this move. Black jumps. White plays at the shape point. Now, technically speaking, I don't think this move works because black can cut here. And somehow, some way, black's shape is holding, actually. Because even though white can take out this eye, the fact that, and there's an order of moves here that is important, but if black can Hane here, and this is a very annoying move for white, black would be able to connect back pretty much. Somehow, I should say. It's very complicated though. Like if white just captures, plays here, I think black could even just Atari. Like black has the ladder. But even if black just connects back, it is like black's helped the right side and has helped the corner. So yeah, maybe this is possible. Maybe this is possible. But I even think black can extend here. And again, it makes things complicated. It makes things very complicated. So yeah, black just connects though. So instead though, and I think what white was thinking was, if I just turn, it forces my opponent to make good shape, which that is a good rule of thumb to try to avoid, is don't play moves that force your opponent to make good shape. So instead of this move, white should play this diagonal, with the idea being I am now threatening Q18, but if black takes Q18, now my stone at P17 is at a better spot than at Q17. Just because now I can simply block and there's no cut. Whereas here, there would be a cut. So, and even if black does just attach, okay, that's fine. We'll just fix and go from there. But white plays here. White takes black's key spot, so that is still a good proverb to follow. Black just connects, and then white connects. Black hanes, white extends, and black pokes here. I see this kind of move a lot, where you have this kind of tiger's mouth shape, and it feels good to kind of poke it out, but this kind of move is definitely Ajikeshi. Just for example, there is Odulator for black to make some good shape here with the Atari at S14, which is also threatening to connect underneath. So yeah, going here doesn't really get black that much. But if you're looking at this board, okay, black has now added more stones here, so now black really needs to save these. And again, black owes a move in the lower right. Black plays here. So black is making yet another group on this board. Now, based on the title I gave this game, Missed Opportunities, you can guess what happens with all these groups, right? Now, slight spoilers, but I'm going to say the result of the game right now. White does win this game, but white wins this game by 6.5, I believe. And so with Comey, I think it was tied on the board. But with how black was playing in the opening, white definitely should have been able to win this by much more, because white had a lot of chances and a lot of ways to win this game. And that's where this game becomes a game of missed opportunities. Because even when white goes here, right, this is perfect. White is pushing black towards white's thickness. Black comes in again. So again, black has a weak group here, which at any point, by the way, white should just be peeping here just to see how black's going to play. This is one of those kind of peeps that you just play just to annoy your opponent. Because it's a tough question for black. If, for example, if you connect here, while you can't cut directly, now white haning threatens to peep here. And this can be quite good for points or for white to help the upper right. If you connect like this, obviously push and cut becomes a problem. So yeah, and it's also if black gets that spot, like black starts to make two eyes very easily. So this is it's just a double peep, just take it. It's another case of where the only other way to peep is this one, which this kind of peep is generally not great. So it would be fine if you hadn't played, like for example, if black had jumped here and then you peeped, this would be fine. But because you already have P10, you would never really want to play P11 anytime. But okay, so we get this. This is, again, fine. But black goes here. Now, if you see a lot of my reviews, there is a shape that I always dismiss. It's a shape that I really do think is on par, maybe not worse, but on par with the empty triangle in shape you don't want to make. And it's whenever you have this, you have a one-space jump of both colors. So here, black stone, white stone, it's a one-space jump. You never want to play the diagonal, because when your opponent extends, your shape is actually quite bad. There's a lot of shape weaknesses. Diagonals by themselves are fine, but once stones start to get close to them, they start to almost fall apart because their liberties are actually quite short. So that's why generally you don't want to make this shape if possible. You would rather play moves like one space jump, knight's moves, or even just attach. And again, here, attach would make perfect sense, but this does allow black to connect under. So we have a very specific reason why we're playing this diagonal. Because even if black attaches under, the usual technique of connecting on top with 16 does not work now, right? Like if you had one space jumped, for example, black would be able to do that, like this. So we are preventing that this way. I'm just playing a move that is preventing black from connecting. And even if black gets extra stones here, it is still very hard for black to connect. Because even after this shape, it's still not clear for black. So this is where I think as you're getting better, and like let's say you have teachers that tell you, okay, do this shape, do that shape, it's good to identify shapes, but as you get stronger, you need to realize that, okay, sometimes rules are made to be broken. So like in a lot of cases, I talk about this shape where you have the 3-space knights move, a large knights move, if you will, and your opponent has played in the middle of it. You want to make this shape. But in this case, it actually does help black connect. So we have a very specific reason why we don't want to do that. And even with that being said, white could have played a different move here. White could have just stood up. And again, even though black's breaking through, we have prevented black from connecting. And again, black capturing one stone here is actually not that important. White could probably still keep the corner, and white is obviously isolating the K17 stone, while black is still not alive either. So yeah, I think even here, white could just stand up, but white goes here. And even after this, if white had just connected, then black's shape is not super great. Like if black, let's say, plays here, and then you even just block here, black is still not fully alive yet. So yeah, this is tricky for black. But what happens in the game is white, speaking of proverbs, white hit their own head of 2 stones, right? How many of you have heard the proverb, you want to hit the head of your opponent's 2 stones? AKA, if you can hane on the head of 2 stones, that's very strong. Well, in this case, white did it to themselves. So it's probably not a great idea for white. So white goes here. Yeah, like for example, if black had double haned, you can see this is starting to threaten double Ataris for white. So yeah, black just extends though. Play here. And then black goes here. Now we'll give my students props here. Because again, if you see my videos a lot, there's a technique I often talk about that is hard to put into practice, or it's one of those things you really need to try hard. If you haven't done it before, you really need to try hard to change. And once you do, it's not too bad to notice. But if you don't try really hard to try to change, it is a hard concept or thing to see, where black is obviously threatening to push and cut. And if we had just connected, that would be fine, but it's really just doing one thing. And again, technically it's doing a little bit extra, but you want to try to be as efficient as possible. So we imagined our opponent has pushed, but then for some reason hasn't cut. Now how would we fix? We could fix like this, we could fix like this, we could fix like this. There's many ways we could fix, right? So in the game, my student went here, which this move is perfect because notice not only is it fixing white's weaknesses, for the most part, again, there is technically still weaknesses here, but you can see even the stone at N14 is helping white keep everything together up top. But yeah, so this move is perfect because it's also encroaching on black's weak group here. So again, if white had just gone here, not that black would play here necessarily, but you can see black starts to make kind of a base here in the center of the board. So white goes here, black peeps, pulls back, and then white takes this spot. Again, this is a very important spot to get. If black is able to, black, even just poking out the tiger's mouth here is such a annoying move for white, because you would like to be able to block here. But this push and cut is pretty severe, actually, because you can notice white's pretty low on liberties. If white has to block, though, taking the corner is actually quite large. So yeah, and this is why initially white should really be trying anything to keep black separated. This is why you do not want black to connect. Even if you play a more vulgar move like this one, the Iron Pillar, at least it is keeping black separated. We get this into this. Black goes here. And again, even after this point, white should be really trying to hit black's weakness here. Because now if black gets that move, black is pretty much 100% alive. So just throw this in. Now black's life is just not alive. And it's simply just a probe. We're just seeing how are you going to answer black. So black hanes, and then goes here. So again, if you evaluate this board position, black, for the most part, is alive up top, but doesn't have many points. Black, once again, doesn't have many points in the upper right, but black still owes a move here in the lower right. Black is still not alive on the right side here, and while there is some weaknesses here, I would consider this thickness, because even though you can push and cut, or even just cut, I mean, which is an Atari, like if white does something, both sides are pretty strong. Like white can cut at f18 anytime, and this group itself isn't going to die anytime soon. This I would consider thickness, and look how black has extended not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but black has extended 5 spaces. So I would be really trying my best to play some sort of pincer on the left side. Black has just extended way too far. Now, normally you would want to pincer this far, like you want to get as close to the stone as possible, but it is quite annoying when black takes c9. That c9, once again, is threatening that connection underneath. So if you just jump up, black can connect under, or try to connect under, I should say. So by going here, I'm just preventing black from being able to make an extension here, although again, black is, since I'm playing further away from c13, black is technically a little bit stronger with this stone. But again, we're not trying to kill this, we're just trying to attack it, because again, black has a weak group here, black now has a weak stone at c13, and black still owes a move on the lower right. Now this could be one of those cases of, what is it called, paralysis analysis, something like that, where white has so many options to choose from that it's almost like black saying, okay, I'm betting that you're not going to play the correct one. But if you do play the correct ones, then your opponent's game plan just falls apart. Because black goes here. So again, attack this group, attack the lower right, or attack this stone. White goes here. White goes here. Now, to white's credit, I have to give my students some credit here. There is some potential with this white group here of being under attack. So for example, if white goes here, what if black pushes here? Right? There is some potential danger here. Now, it is important to note that if something like this were to happen, and black can even, let's say, separate off the right side stones, upper right, well, now the entire top side is dead for black. And I think it's even dead right now. It's very close. Yeah, I think it is dead right now. But regardless, black is top side is either dead with one move or just dead already, and black had to ignore a move. So if you jump up, then now you can see the stone at c13 is very weak. And this is best case scenario for black, because white has some ways to not play, let's say, so much into black's hands. So for example, let's say we do want to help our upper right stone. So this is where we want to try to get creative. We got to use our imagination a little bit, okay? So if we play here, again, it puts some pressure on the black group, but realistically, we are just connecting, and that's it. And you'll see in a move, black ends up playing here, and white has lost the chance to attack this c13 stone. So is there a way for us to help our upper right group? Is there a way for us to help our upper right group in a more forceful way? And there is. White can play here. And you might be asking yourself, how is this helping our upper right group, right? Yes, we are threatening to kill the upper right corner, but if black connects, we still have a connection problem here. Everything I just showed still works. Well, it does still work, but white has created a backdoor connection. So again, if let's say white splits the left side and black wants to separate like this, white can connect. Because of T15, white can connect back to the lower right. So if black tries desperately to try to separate, even with throw-ins, white just has enough stones there to stay connected. And so white has created Miai in either connecting to the top side or the right side just by going here. Now again, black could say, okay, the upper right corner is small, which, technically it is kind of small, but this stone has a lot more use because, okay, now I can kill the upper right anytime than this stone here. which unless this does put a lot of pressure on the right side or the top side, this move is pretty much one-dimensional. Because even if it creates some sente moves up top, if black can go here and connect, which creates peeps at C17 with descents coming, or peeps at E15, if you're exchanging N17 for F18, this is not a good exchange. So yes, now again, you're not always going to find, let's say, this kind of connection on the first line, but that's what you want to be thinking about as much as possible. How can I solve a problem as efficiently as possible? That is something that should always be on your mind. And again, in a lot of cases, or in some cases, you might not be able to, but that's what you got to try to start doing if you want to become a stronger player. And because these are the missed opportunities that can happen in your games. So again, white can go here, and if black ignores, eventually you can kill the top side. Or if black answers, then you've already fixed in sente. So yes. Because even in the game when black goes here, after this exchange, white is fully connected. So white could just play here, because now if black ever pushes, white has already have the stone at N17. And if black extends, again, white can just connect. So white just answers, though. And again, if you're going to answer this, and white was saying, like, oh, I'm creating like potential weakness up top, white doesn't play M18 or resolves or gets to follow to O18 for the next over 100 moves, I'm pretty sure. So that's kind of shows you how, once again, it's a missed opportunity for white, because black's able to connect back. Now, with that everything being said so far, black still has a weak group in the center on the right side there, and still owes a move on the bottom. So this is where, even though like technically white is missing a lot of opportunities, white is still in the game. Now, this is again where if my student wants to get better, this kind of missing the opportunities might work at, the mid Q level. But if you're going down to the lower digit Qs, then they're not going to let you have this many targets or have this many missed opportunities and still win the game. So white goes here, and black kicks. And white stands up, black descends, and white is worried about some Aji of the elephant eye. So white goes here. Now, truthfully, this is not a good exchange because you force black to fix. So in this kind of position, this is not a overplay. What we're about to do is white. This is not an overplay. We are simply asking a question. This is where white should play at R3, the 3-3 spot, simply to see how black's going to answer. So for example, let's say black plays here, just for example, then white's already fixed this elephant eye, because if black ever tries to break it, now when we play here, we're threatening to cut or cut here. So yeah, or even right now you could play this move and threaten to cut. But just getting this move in is going to create a lot of headache for black's corner. If black goes here, again, even if we just fix our elephant eye by making this kind of big bend, we have created a lot of bad Aji in the corner. A lot of bad Aji. Like later, if we're able to Hane and make the tiger's mouth here, there's a lot of, you can just tell, there's a lot of danger for black in this corner. So once you go here, though, all that Aji kind of just dissipates almost in one move. But if you look at this board now, okay, we have succeeded, right? We have gotten, or we have squeezed black into the corner. We have choked black into the corner. Black cannot escape. Black stones will not affect the rest of the board. Now going here, this move is okay, but the right side now is again kind of small. Now that you have stones on the bottom, this is definitely where white should just extend all the way here, or again, white needs to poke here. But white descends, and black even goes down. Now, while this move is not great by black, black's already alive in the lower right. So there's no real danger. Now, again, maybe black thought there was danger, so in that case, it's an okay move, but you'd rather just make your base as big as possible and create a weakness there. But black just descends, and white extends here. Now, this is where, in a lot of cases, P2 is not a great move, but in this case, it could be good because black kicks, of course, and splits the bottom. And this is where P2 is helping black a lot, because having P2 means black can threaten to connect to the corner. So let's say like if white caps, black can pretty much always just connect under like this. So this is actually for black's game plan, this move's actually very good. Now again, I think black should just take away white's move here, or again help their group on the right side here. But since they are worried about the lower right, it makes sense. So then we go here. And because of this connection here, now look at this lower white 2 stones here. Now in a lot of cases, when you do not have an extension from your kick, right, like white was able to get R10 earlier, so those 2 stones at R6 and Q6 are never going to get attacked pretty much. But here, white was not able to make their extension. So the question is, how weak are these 2 stones? Well, to answer that, you have to ask yourself, what are the stones that my opponent has nearby to attack me with? And what I mean by that is, does black have high stones or low stones? And if you notice, all along the left side, black has low stones, meaning these stones are not good for fighting. They're good for territory. They're not good for fighting. So, and notice how far black has played from our 2 stones here, right? Not only is black pretty far away, allowing us to make a base, but also black's low. So this is a case where white should just play the 1 space pincer here. Because 1, this is preventing black from connecting under. But 2, black is so low on the left side that it's just really hard to attack these stones here. It's just very hard to attack these stones. So white should not be scared of these 2 stones getting under attack. In the game, white shoulder hits, which again is not great strategy because you're touching a stone you can attack. So if anything, I'd rather just play the large knight's move here from F4, just so we're not touching the stone. In the game, white goes here. And then black goes here, and again, white does something very smart. Now white takes it, and now it's even better because now we're hitting the weak spot of black's shape. Now, I think technically this is slightly better, but black will descend, and then you get to play here, and it's like black's shape is pretty bad. In the game, black was able to go here, but this is still not too bad as long as you just play, let's say, this diagonal here. Basically, you want to play a move that prevents this clamp. This clamp is very annoying. Now again, to white's credit, white pushes and then pokes here, which if you notice, this is the same shape I was critiquing of black's when black poked at Q15. So it's bad for similar reasons, which is why, again, though, in this case at least, white was looking for a specific reason where white didn't want to see this clamp here. So in that case, it's maybe a little bit better than black's move, but still, this is where I want to play this diagonal, which notice this diagonal is also threatening to connect under. So if our left side, ever gets into danger, we can pretty much just, can we just play the nut here and we'll be okay? Yeah, I think so. But even if you just descend here, notice you get a lot of forcing moves threatening to connect. So yeah, as opposed to going here, which is sente, but you create a lot of bad aji in your shape all of a sudden. So yeah, white goes here. White didn't want to see this kind of shape, which I agree, that is quite painful. But then black goes here. Now, we want to attack the bottom side, right? Because the bottom side has no eyes. And the other key is, this right side group is still not alive. This group still does not have 2 eyes. If white ever gets this move, this group is just dying. So, yes. So, white should be playing away from these stones to attack, or should be playing away from these stones to attack them indirectly. So this is where, again, white can be a little creative. What if white just simply jumps here? Jumping creates, like, if black has to help the center group, which again, even helping the center group, because of the weakness up top, you can just attack both sides. While you attack the upper right, you are indirectly attacking the bottom side, because if black ever tries to help the right side, notice these stones would be facing black's bottom, which aka facing means attacking. This is fighting 101 right here, where you're attacking one side to really attack the other side. So keep that in mind. But if you play this move, and then let's say we go here next, we would be able to push, and then even peep here, like this. And again, very bad, kind of like the Aji I was talking about here. Aji is very bad for black. Very, very bad for black. So if black connects and white hanes, black's corner is getting smaller and smaller. And if black ever is like, oh, I have to help my center group, then our profit is from attacking. Because again, the key is we're not trying to kill. We're just trying to gain some profit somewhere. We've taken the corner out, which again is quite nice. So yeah, that's why this kind of jump here is threatening here. And again, if black has to pull back here, then again, now we can push, just cut, see how black's going to play. If black connects here, we can push again. Hane, Atari, you can see we're just pushing black down. And if black ever ignores, then we're getting profit from attacking. And notice we're also helping our lower left group as well. And this is just one move you could play. There's many moves you can play. What if you play this knight's move here? Same move that I recommended when your opponent ignores the or tenukis after they kick. Right? If black ever helps the center, obviously we're going to split. But if black ever keeps answering and then helps the center, then we're going to reduce black's left side. So, yeah, white should be looking to lean on the left side to really attack the center. In the game, though, white attaches here and cuts. And pretty much just lets black connect back to their right side. So black doesn't even spend a move to have to live with the right side because black's just able to connect, which is, again, the fact white won this game just shows you like how crazy black was playing in the opening, that even though all of black's groups got settled, it was still not enough for black to win this game. But yeah, white just let black connect. And yeah, even at this stage, right here, yeah, it's not great, and it's a little bit moved behind, but even here you can still just keep splitting black. So yeah, letting white connect here, or black connect here, I should say, yeah, was just not great. And again, this is why this game is a case of missed opportunities. And again, I want to illustrate that even though white won this game, there's a lot of missed opportunities that would have helped white's, or let's say made the game less stressful for white. Because while fighting might seem complicated, if you have control, it actually should feel stress-free. Because everything should just flow naturally. Let me lean on this side to attack that side. Let me poke out the I shape here. Let me just split your groups, right? It's your opponent that has the stress. They're the ones who are struggling. But okay, white has all this thickness here, right? So any fight there is going to benefit white. Black goes here. Black goes here. Not even based on what I just said. Where do you think white should play here? White should just split. If black comes further into white's area, white can use all of their stones to attack the group. And again, I don't see where black's two eyes are here. And if black ever tries to connect or attack or do something, then these stones here are now facing black's left side. So even if black can do something here, black's going to lose the points on the left side anyways. It might not be worth it. So white goes here, and realistically, when white goes here, black could have captured these white stones here. It could have been even worse for white, where white just loses these stones here. So yeah, that's why this game was a game of missed opportunities. Because white connected here and black peeped and just made quite a few amount of points here. So yeah, that's where, again, I've said it many times, but just to illustrate my point or drill the point home, is just when your opponent, again, it could be just there are so many options white didn't know what to choose from, but at some point you will need to kind of make the executive decision, if you will, on when to attack and what to attack. But this game just, there was many opportunities for my student to attack one group or the other and just pretty much failed to do so, at least failed to do so in a very meaningful way. So yeah, that was the main point of this review, as I just wanted to illustrate how white could have just played better to just get, just to make the game honestly a little easier, even though black is trying to complicate the game and make things kind of chaotic. But yeah, they go to an end game, and again, there's mistakes here and there, but again, the main point of this was just to illustrate that white had a lot of chances in this game, and despite black playing everywhere and anywhere, it was still not enough to win the game. And this goes back to a very important point of white followed the one rule that you want to follow when you're attacking, is not to leave yourself open to counterattacks. Because even though black did live everywhere, again, this group lived with 3 points, this group lived with 6 points, even this center group that got connected lived with just a couple points. So in that case, white did succeed because white didn't die anywhere while attacking. But yeah, just finishing up here. If you want to go through the game, it will be in the description, and you can check it out there. But for the purpose of the video, yeah, we'll just finish up. And yeah, the final result was white by 7.5. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this video. And again, if you are interested in inquiring about being my student, just contact me at ohiogoschool@gmail.com. You can find it in the description. And yeah, I'll see everyone in the next video.